The night was cold and quiet outside the hospital, but inside, everything felt busy and tense. Amara walked down the long white hallway with her head slightly bent. She was young, only 26, but her eyes carried years of tiredness. She loved being a nurse, yet every day seemed like a battle. Her colleagues barely noticed her. They gave her the hardest jobs, the longest hours, and never once said thank you. Still, Amara moved with calm steps, pushing her cart of medicines. She had grown used to the silence, the way no one asked her opinion during meetings, the way her ideas floated in the air until someone else repeated them. That night, however, something strange began. She noticed a new patient, an old man named Henry, breathing unevenly. His medicine chart said he was on a strong drug. Amara frowned. That drug was expensive and rare, but the bottle on his table looked different. She picked it up slowly. The label was poorly stuck, and the color of the pills inside was wrong. She whispered to herself, "This doesn't feel right." She wanted to ask the head doctor, but she knew what would happen. He would laugh at her, wave her away, and call her just a nurse. So she kept the bottle in her pocket. Her heart beat faster as she moved down the hall, feeling like eyes were watching her. When she turned the corner, she froze. Two men stood by the supply room. One was Dr. Collins, tall and pale, with sharp glasses. The other was a stranger in a black coat. They whispered, their voices low, their hands exchanging small white boxes. Amara pressed herself against the wall, her breath shallow. Something inside her whispered, "Don't get involved." But another voice, stronger, whispered, "This is wrong. This is dangerous. Don't look away." Amara couldn't sleep that night. Even when her shift ended, she stayed awake in her small apartment, staring at the bottle she had taken. She turned it around and around in her hands. Who was switching the medicine? Why? Her stomach twisted as she thought about Henry. What if he had died because of it? Her phone buzzed. A message from her friend, Lisa, another nurse at the hospital. "Hey, be careful. Don't ask too many questions. People here are not who they seem." Amara's fingers trembled. Did Lisa know something? She typed back, "What do you mean?" But the screen stayed silent. No reply. The next day, Amara carried the bottle back to the hospital. She wanted to check the storage room herself. But when she arrived, the door was locked with a heavy silver chain. A sign hung on the door, "Maintenance in progress." Her heart sank. She knew it wasn't true. The hospital never locked supply rooms. As she turned away, she saw Dr. Collins standing at the end of the hallway. He wasn't smiling. His eyes were cold, like glass. For a moment, they stared at each other. Then, slowly, he raised his finger to his lips. A silent warning, "Stay quiet." Amara's legs went weak. She forced herself to walk past him, pretending nothing had happened. But inside, her fear grew heavier. She didn't know it yet, but she had already stepped into a storm that could destroy her life. That night, Amara's dreams were filled with shadows. She saw Dr. Collins standing over her bed, his face covered by the glow of a lamp. His lips moved, but no sound came. She woke up gasping for air, sweat dripping down her forehead. She knew it was just a dream, but her heart refused to calm down. The morning sun gave little comfort. As she dressed in her white uniform, she told herself she was imagining things. But when she reached the hospital, fear crept back into her chest. Henry, the old man, was worse. His breathing was shallow, his face pale. Amara rushed to check his chart again. The same drug was listed, but the nurse on the night shift said she had never seen the bottle before. Amara wanted to shout, but she held it in. She looked at Henry's weak body and felt a wave of guilt. "I won't let them hurt you," she whispered. But how could she protect him when she was just a nurse? Her mind replayed Dr. Collins's cold stare and the way he raised his finger to silence her. He was powerful, respected, and trusted by everyone. No one would believe her. No one. When her shift ended, she slipped into the hospital records room. Her hand shook as she searched through stacks of patient files. Names, numbers, medicines, all neatly listed. But as she scanned deeper, her eyes widened. The same expensive drug kept appearing on different charts. The problem was, she had never seen it given to those patients. They were either dead or discharged, their bodies too weak to speak for themselves. Amara's stomach twisted. This wasn't a mistake. It was a pattern. Crime. She stuffed a few photocopies into her bag, then hurried out, but as she reached the hallway, she froze again. Lisa stood there, her face pale. Amara, you shouldn't be here, Lisa whispered. They're watching you. Amara's heart skipped. What do you mean? Who's watching me? Lisa bit her lip, glanced around nervously, and then leaned close. Don't ask me. Just be careful. Please. Then she walked away quickly, leaving Amara trembling in the hallway, her bag heavy with secrets that could either save lives or destroy hers. The next day, rain poured heavily, making the city look gray and tired. Amara sat by Henry's bed, watching the water run down the window. He was unconscious now, his chest rising slowly, each breath sounding like a struggle. She held his hand gently. Stay with me, she whispered. Please don't leave. She felt a shadow fall over her. Turning, she found Dr. Collins staring at her again. His smile was faint but filled with threat. Nurse Amara, he said in his deep, calm voice. You've been working too hard. Why don't you take some rest? Leave the critical patients to those with more experience. The words stung like poison. She wanted to shout, I saved him when you almost killed him. But she swallowed her anger, nodding instead. Yes, doctor. As he walked away, she noticed his coat pocket bulging slightly, like he was hiding something. Her eyes followed him until he disappeared around the corner. Later that evening, Amara went to the cafeteria for coffee. She sat alone at the far table, her mind buzzing. She wanted to tell Lisa what she had found in the records, but she feared Lisa might be part of it. She wanted to call the police, but what if they laughed at her? Without proof, she would only look like a foolish nurse blaming a respected doctor. As she stirred her coffee, a folded note slipped onto her table. Her eyes darted up, but no one was there. She unfolded it quickly. The note read, Stop digging or you will be next. Her hand shook so badly she dropped the cup, spilling hot coffee across the table. Her eyes filled with tears. Someone knew. Someone was watching her every move. But deep inside, beneath the fear, another feeling burned. A stubborn fire. Amara whispered to herself, I won't stop. I can't stop. The warning note haunted Amara all night. She sat on her bed with the curtains closed, staring at the piece of paper over and over again. Her heart thumped like a drum in her chest. She wanted to throw it away, burn it, erase it from her life. But something inside told her to keep it. It was proof that she wasn't imagining things. Sleep came late, broken by nightmares. She dreamed of running through the hospital hallways while shadows chased her. Each time she turned a corner, she found another door locked. And when she finally pushed one open, she saw Henry lying lifeless on the bed. She woke up gasping, tears on her face, whispering, No, please, no. The next morning, her eyes were heavy with tiredness, but she forced herself to go to work. When she reached Henry's room, her stomach dropped. His bed was empty. Panic clawed at her chest. She rushed to the nurse's desk. Where is Henry? What happened to him? The older nurse looked at her without emotion. He died last night. Amara froze. Her legs felt weak. That's not possible. He was still fighting. He wasn't ready to go. The nurse shrugged. Patients die every day. Get used to it. Her body shook with anger, but no words came. She turned and ran to the storage room. She needed answers. She needed proof. But when she reached the door, the chain was gone. The lock had been replaced with a stronger one. Fresh paint covered the doorframe. It was as if nothing suspicious had ever been there. Tears blurred her vision as she leaned against the wall. Henry was gone. The medicine bottles were gone. The only thing left was the note in her bag, and the truth burning inside her chest. She didn't know it, but someone was watching her from the upper floor, eyes cold and calculating. Amara decided she could no longer carry the burden alone. That evening, she called Lisa and begged her to meet at a small cafe down the street. Rain fell again, tapping the windows as Amara sat nervously at the back table. Her hand shook as she stirred her tea, waiting. Lisa arrived late, looking pale and uneasy. She sat down quickly. Why did you call me here? Amara leaned forward, her voice trembling. Henry is dead, Lisa. And it's not natural. Someone switched his medicine. I saw Dr. Collins with a man in the supply room. They're stealing drugs, replacing them with poison. Lisa's face went white. Her lips parted as if to speak, but no sound came. Finally, she whispered, "Amara, please stop. You don't know what you're walking into." Amara's eyes filled with tears. "Then help me. Please. You work here too. You've seen things." "I know you have." Lisa looked around the cafe nervously, then leaned closer. "Yes, I've seen things. But if you report him, they won't believe you. Collins has power, friend in high places. And people who cross him disappear." Amara's breath caught. "Disappear? What do you mean?" Lisa didn't answer. She grabbed her bag, stood quickly, and whispered, "Don't call me again." Then she hurried out into the rain, leaving Amara shaking at the table, her heart pounding louder than the thunder outside. Amara walked home that night with her umbrella trembling in her hands. Fear pressed down on her shoulders, but anger kept her moving. When she entered her apartment, she froze. Her door was unlocked. She was sure she had locked it that morning. Her chest tightened as she stepped inside. The lights flickered. She placed her bag on the floor and looked around carefully. On her kitchen table lay a single object, a hospital badge. Her badge, except she had it with her in her bag. She reached out with shaking hands. The badge looked exactly like hers, but had a small red X scratched across the photo of her face. Her knees went weak. Someone had been inside. Someone had touched her things. And someone wanted her to know she was next. Amara stood frozen in her apartment, staring at the badge with the red X. Her breath came in sharp bursts, and her mind raced. She could not run forever. If she stayed quiet, more patients would die. If she spoke up, she might lose everything, maybe even her life. That night, she made her decision. She packed the copies of patient files, the strange medicine bottle, and the threatening note into a small folder. She placed the folder inside her bag, then wrote one sentence on a paper by her bed. "If I don't return, tell the truth." The next morning, she went straight to the city police headquarters. Her legs shook as she entered, but her voice was firm when she spoke to the officer. "I have evidence. A doctor in my hospital is killing patients." At first, they looked at her with doubt. But when she laid the files on the desk and played the secret voice recording she had captured Dr. Collins speaking to the supplier, the room grew silent. The officer leaned forward, eyes wide. "This is serious. We'll handle it." For days, Amara's stomach twisted with fear. She worked her shifts quietly, pretending nothing had changed. Dr. Collins still walked the halls with his sharp glasses and cold smile. But one evening, the hospital filled with police. Officers stormed into the building, and patients and nurses watched as Dr. Collins was handcuffed in front of everyone. The staff whispered in shock. Some covered their mouths. Others stared at Amara with new eyes, realizing she was the one who had risked everything to stop him. As he was led away, Dr. Collins turned his head and glared at her. But this time, Amara didn't look away. She stood tall, her chin lifted, her fear replaced with strength. The following week, the hospital director called her into the office. "Amara, we owe you an apology. We ignored you, gave you the heaviest loads, and treated you as if you were invisible. But you saved lives. You saved this hospital." Amara's eyes filled with tears, but she didn't cry. She simply nodded and said softly, "I only did what was right." The hospital slowly changed. Nurses were treated with more respect. New rules were set to protect patients. And Amara, though still humble, was no longer invisible. She had found her voice, and with it, the courage to stand against injustice. That night, as she walked home, the city lights glowing around her, she whispered to herself, "They tried to silence me." But in the end, the truth was louder. If you found this story captivating, don't forget to subscribe and share.